A surge in fraud across the country is bringing Canada's largest banks, telecom companies, and law enforcement agencies together under a new alliance. So the Canadian Anti-Scam Coalition, that's what it's called, says it will launch a, quote, comprehensive national education campaign next month to help Canadians recognize fraudulent phone calls, online ads before becoming a victim. For more on how this group is going to function, we are joined by tech analyst Carmi Levy. Carmi, nice to see you.
Good to be with you, Lindsay. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so this Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, well, that says it has received more than 24,000 fraud reports from more than 17,000 victims so far this year. And this is a huge number. Look at that on your screen. That fraud has led to $342 million in losses for people. The group also notes that fewer than 10% of fraud cases get reported. So what is driving the volume that we're seeing of scams right now?
It's ridiculously easy to do. You don't have to be an expert in fraud in order to prosecute a fraud attack. In fact, you can just go online and get a kit for this to cover a very large sort of, victimology. Artificial intelligence is also making it ridiculously easy for these attacks to happen because they can, for example, voice cloning. They can record your voice, pretend to be someone who you know, and then you think it's them, or even video. And so the scale, the sophistication of these is growing over time. The dollar figures are going up. It is, as you said, significantly underreported. And also the laws that would protect us against this kind of activity simply haven't been updated to reflect today's technology. So it's fairly easy to get away with, and criminals know this, so they just keep pouring more resources into it.
The coalition says Canadians come across billions of scams every day. Billions of scams every day. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
It is, and the numbers continue to go up, obviously, because the technological landscape is making it easier to do and much more difficult to be caught. And also, we're leaning more heavily on our devices, on our smartphones, on our computers, on social media apps, direct messaging within them. And so as time goes on, they're meeting us where we are, and they're pretending to get within that circle of trust. They're pretending to be people that we know, friends, family members, employers, banks, government agencies. And so we almost can't tell the difference, thanks to the sophistication of these attacks, between legitimate messaging and non-legitimate messaging. And most of these attacks, most of these frauds often start with what looks like a fairly innocuous message, maybe from your bank about a payment, or from your kid about they need some money for tuition. And next thing you know, it's spiraling into a major crisis.
Okay, so this coalition, let's break this down. So big banks, telecom companies, law enforcement agencies coming together. What are they going to do? Like, what's the plan?
Their tagline is, the hashtag is stand against scams, and they say they want to help everyone fight back, remove much of this content from the internet so that if there's less fraudulent messaging out there on a website, in your inbox, on social media, then we're less likely to encounter it, fewer opportunities for criminals to do what they do. They also want to make it easier for consumers to get resources to better protect themselves. So raise our individual education levels, become better trained so that when we see something like this in our inbox, we know, that's not legit. I shouldn't engage. I should instead report and block.
Some experts are raising questions, Carmi, over whether the coalition does enough for victims of fraud. So post-fraud, really, Canadian banks, who are part of this group, are not legally required to refund the money customers lose from scams. Will we see a change here, do you think?
This is really, if we want to look through a cynical lens, this is a PR campaign by involved stakeholders. And no, the law has not changed. Consumers are still lacking that protection. Banks are still under no requirement to give back the money. They can still use the excuse that, well, because they were defrauded, because they provided the access to criminals, they might have logged in, they might have given out private information that made these attacks possible. Then they're not going to be refunded. So until the laws change, it's great to have greater awareness. It's good for the industry to get around the table and talk about it. But we're still not going to see consumers being refunded for these things. Nothing really changes on the ground, and unfortunately, we're still going to continue to see these kinds of frauds increase both in number as well as sophistication.
Tech analyst Carmi Levy, good to see you as always. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Lindsay.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.